Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host Marty McDermott with my co-host Don Johnson, and if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show today. We're meeting with Tony Lamb, who is the founder of Kona Ice. And Kona Ice provides a bright, welcoming, and professional alternative to the typical ice cream truck. Kids line up to buy shaved ice and get the used patent Flavor Wave, where customers can pour their own flavors onto the ice. And that's coming up in Segment 2 of Franchise Interviews, so stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interest and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host Marty McDermott with my co-host Don Johnson, and if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Today's show is being brought to you by Franchise Times Magazine. Franchise Times is the only publication that targets both franchisors and multi-unit franchisees, and it's a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise. How you doing today, Don? Welcome back.
I'm doing fine. Week's going well. How about you?
Good. It's always interesting doing a show on a Wednesday, right? It kind of throws you off a bit, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. It's fine now. We're always ready.
So all day we're thinking it's going to be Thursday, so
right.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. I know in summertime you guys got the beach, but I tell you in fall, it's just Pennsylvania is incredible, the view and the trees and all that other
right.
stuff.
Fall foliage, the color, yeah, it's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, it is amazing. So really beautiful here today. Our last show, Don, we had a full couple weeks here of franchise interviews. Nancy Weingartner, executive editor of Franchise Times Magazine, and we also met with Dan Frey, who is the CEO of the Glass Guru franchise opportunity. We also met with some of their franchisees. We met with Wendy and Damian Williams. They're from Colorado Springs. Thought it was an interesting concept, something a little different for us for our library, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I always love when the we have franchisees on, and they're probably our first glass industry franchise on. So it was interesting hearing from Dan, the story of the company growing and the perspective from the franchisee. It's great having Nancy on the show too. Franchise Times being a leader in the industry. It's
she's wonderful. Yeah, she's. I forgot to mention to her. One of my favorite articles from Nancy was when, I don't know if you remember this one, she interviewed the guys from was it L.A. Sunset Tan, who actually had on the show, and she was like hanging out with them, and it's like paparazzi taking pictures and stuff like that. It's just a wonderful. She's an incredible writer. So I'm looking forward to having them back on. We'll usually have someone on from Franchise Times on a monthly basis, to tell us what's going on in the upcoming editions. So, just really great. A couple things about the Glass Guru. If you're listening today and you missed the show, you can always go back and listen to it again in our archives. We're up to 140-something shows, Don. Can you imagine that?
I can.
Slowly approaching. It's aged you, hasn't it? But the concept with the Glass Guru, I mean, if you've ever seen a foggy window in your house, and what most people typically do, and I think we've probably done this on occasion, is you replace the windows, and what you do in this particular case, or what this franchise does, is it solves a common need. You could just repair the seal instead of getting a new window, and the market for windows is huge. I mean, just look out, your window now, and look at all the businesses and homes and all that other stuff, So it really is.
They have a unique technology to get rid of that, what they call it, a moisture removal surface, and I mean, a lot of times people maybe don't have to replace their windows, but in general, it seems like they can service a lot of different needs, and I guess the Wendy and Damian liked it because of the uniqueness and the niche that they can get from having that type of franchise.
Yeah, and they've probably seen it because they were in a similar industry, weren't they? If I remember correctly, I know they were, pretty similar industry, so they probably have seen that before, And what this does is, I mean, it saves customers a large percentage of money, especially in these times. I mean, if you can save money here and there, I think it's a great service. So, and at some point, I think he was saying that every pane is going to fail at some point, So
anything to do with glass and window, they're full service, nice franchise.
Did you catch he was talking about their top producer in Ohio was an accountant, and it always makes me comfortable. I always say, what a strong testimony when you have accountants buying into your system, because if you know accountants, you know that the first thing they go to, is the balance sheet and the income statement, and they look at all those other percentages and formulas and all that other stuff, and so it probably made sense to him. I remember Aaron's was a big one too, where they had a lot of former accountants going into their system. So I think that says a lot. Yeah,
point.
So that's good. So we'll have to keep our eye on them. Again, they're a smaller franchise. And when I say smaller compared to a McDonald's or Yum Brands, and I like that too. I like the ability to be able to speak to the CEO of a company where you could just call up and say, hey, Dan, how you doing? I have a question on this. You can't always do that at McDonald's or Yum Brands and a lot of those bigger places like Subway, So there's certainly some advantages to getting into a smaller system. And one of the things I want to mention, too, is sometimes you have a little more say and control in the growth of the franchise, and these guys will continue to grow. So you can feel like you're part of that experience, especially if you got that little entrepreneurial spirit in you, So just a great concept. So we'll keep our eye on them.
Definitely.
So what do we got going on today, Don?
Tony Lamb, founder of Kona Ice, will be coming on shortly. They have 63 franchises in 23 states. Wanted to mention that because I was born in 63, so.
You are? Okay. Well, everyone knows your age now. So yeah, so that should be an interesting concept too, right? I mean, because it's something a little different, and it sounds like they have like this unique concept as well.
Right.
You know, all these different flavors and all these different combinations and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Here's a couple other upcoming shows, just so you know. Next week, Thursday, the 22nd, First Watch Franchise Opportunity meets with franchise interviews. It says they started simply as a fresh idea. First Watch was founded in 1983 in Pacific Grove, California, on the simple concept of putting customers first. In other words, we strive to provide unexpectedly, extraordinarily experiences every day. It's part of you first service philosophy. So that should be pretty interesting. So their unique breakfast, brunch, and lunch creations are freshly prepared to each order. They give Wi-Fi access, and so that's something a little different. You know, I'm looking forward to that. I think you're going to have to bring your appetite for that show. We always get hungry on those kind of shows.
That'll be interesting. Now, is that going to be next Wednesday or Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Okay.
And Express Medical Transporters is the following week. That's on a Wednesday. Franchise Opportunity meets with franchise interviews. It says Express Medical Transporters was founded in 1995 by its president, CEO, Bernard Squitieri, with more than 25 years of experience in the transportation industry. Mr. Squitieri started the company with one vehicle. Today, Express Medical Transporters is the largest for-profit, non-emergency transportation company in the state of Missouri. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? We haven't done anything like that yet. So,
right, yeah.
Once again, adding to the categories on our website, franchiseinterviews.com, and pretty much all of them are up there up to this point. So there's a lot to listen to. We have about 140 hours worth of material on our website. So, again, it would take you about 6 days to listen to all of it. So pretty interesting.
And one day we'll have all the industries covered, you know.
Exactly. You know, we're getting there. So it takes a while, but it's certainly been informative. So, yeah, and I know you had some interesting articles as you were scanning the globe for topics.
Yeah, there's something by Rob Hayes talking a little bit about the Franchise Expo, gives chances to buy jobs. And this was the West Coast Expo.
Okay.
Big franchise show that I attended a couple of weeks ago. Our company exhibited through Diamond Financial. And, you know, the shows are always good. It's a rough economy, so the attendance can always be better. There's a few less franchisors there. But a lot of the franchisors I speak to, their clients, I hear the feedback. Most franchisors were pretty happy. It's a good show, you know.
Were there any interesting concepts on that stood out for you? I mean, you know, a lot of times you do see sometimes the same franchises there, but were there anything interesting that you noticed?
Well, I mean, you had your, you know, typical large franchise companies. One company, Smokey's House Barbecue. They were there handing out food. They're a new franchise. Everybody was excited about that. I got their food a couple of times. Talk about, you know, your appetite at these things. And
were they giving out samples this year? I know some last year they were a little skimpier with like samples and things like that at the franchise show.
That's definitely gone down over the last few years. You don't have the ice cream franchises really, you know, giving out the ice cream and so forth. But you always have a few food concepts there that are involved. There was a car wash company called Cactus Car Wash, which was interesting. I mean, you always have your good mix of low investment franchises, your high investment. You have, you know, some of your well-known franchises, you know, like Arby's and Ace Hardware. Even Aaron's was there. We talked about them a little while ago. Choice Hotels, Church's Chicken. You know, just a lot of things across the board. And then you always have some of your newer concepts.
That's great.
And, you know, some of your service and home-based franchises, which a lot of the franchises are selling around the country. Your lower-based, you know, lower investment-size franchise.
I know you're standing on your feet a lot at their shows, don't you? You must come back fatigued. Because
it's hard work, a lot of talking, a lot of walking.
When you get back from California, you got the time difference, you know, and then you know, you come back.
It's great going there. I pick up time coming back to the East Coast. You lose the 3 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
And they had some of the tax franchises, H&R Block and Liberty Tax.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I know every year you typically stop by like the Liberty Tax one, and you get like the Statue of Liberty stuff, and I know you pick up things for the kids sometimes.
Yeah, the hats, and there's always a lot of good stuff. Always a lot of pressure on me with my 5-year-old twins to go back and get them stuff from the show.
That's the agenda of the show, right? Is how many?
But there's a few less franchisors handing out stuff, so the kids are now these days, after I hand them out stuff, they go, "That's it?"
Well, that's when you start buying stuff at the airport, right? Oh, geez.
But good show, but
good.
You know, and then here's a follow-up article to the show. From car washes to tutoring to taco trucks, the exhibits at the West Coast Franchise Expo run the gamut of the American business world. At a time when unemployment is soaring, franchise sellers are finding more and more people who want to buy their next job. From the research I've done, about 10% of franchises fail, as opposed to if you're on your own, it's probably close to around 70 or 80% that I don't make it through the first 5 years. So the odds are a little bit better buying yourself a job through a franchise, says David Dreyer, an Expo attendee, who makes our show from just attending that show.
Wow.
But even though there may be more interest in buying franchises, the one thing that's missing these days is money. Expo organizers will tell you that financing is dried up. I mean, that's one of the reasons why our company was there exhibiting. We were, very popular there.
Right.
From the people attending and the franchisors who refer people to us. That's been a hurdle why their growth hasn't been as big. Financing's been such a big issue. The biggest hurdle right now is financing, and lenders aren't lending. People are using their 401k money, says Tom Portisy, a Franchise Expo producer. A lot of what you'll see is people's equity in homes being used as collateral for a loan, and that's going away a little bit as well, he says.
Yeah.
In many cases, a lot of money isn't needed to buy a franchise. You know, you have some of your lower investment size franchises, which, people are considering these days everything. Here's something through Reuters. Small businesses see U.S. economy improving. This is by Ellen Wolfhorst out of New York. Many U.S. small businesses are optimistic about growth and see the economy improving in 3 to 6 months, according to a survey released recently. 4 out of 5 small businesses are pursuing a moderate or aggressive growth strategy, expanding into new markets and producing more revenue among existing customers, according to the survey by Chase Card Services, credit card division of JP Morgan Chase. Only 5% said they were not looking to grow business aggressively, according to the survey, which questioned 168 chief and senior executives from the annual Inc. 500/5000 list of fastest-growing small companies between September 10th and 14th. 3/4 of the company said they believe the U.S. economy and their business will be doing better in 3 to 6 months. Some 27 million small businesses operate in the U.S. and are responsible for roughly 40 million jobs.
Yeah,
but I just thought I'd mention this because it's mostly positive, and we all know the economy is getting a little better. It's always nice hearing that from small businesses who are, I guess, starting to see it.
Yeah, I heard on one of the news reports yesterday. I forgot who came out with this study. It had to be fairly credible, but they said 4 out of 5 economists do say that the recession is over. So, but unemployment is still fairly high in the country. I think it was still at 8 million. You see a lot of different numbers. But that says a lot. If that's the pool, 8 million people, I'm sure there's a nice percentage of them out there that are probably in the market for buying a franchise, or they probably never even thought about it, So once again, going back to your term forced entrepreneurship, they say, you know what, I spent 20 years working for this company and they got rid of me like it was nothing. Maybe I have to, consider the franchise alternative. So
yeah, good point. Here's something, Marty, through FranData press release. Home healthcare industry is booming, according to a new report. The home healthcare industry is rapidly growing, according to a new industry report released by FranData. What's more, demand for in-home care service is only expected to grow over the next decade as baby boomers continue to age and require assisted living services. The industry grew by 13% each year between 2006 to 2008, adding hundreds of more units that provide non-medical assistance, home care, and other assistance such as shopping, cleaning, and companionship services. Other services may include bathing and hygiene support for 24 nurse care. Significantly, the booming growth franchises serving the growth home health care need report that the majority of brands have been in business for less than 5 years, and no brand has emerged as a clear leader in the industry. This is a highly fragmented industry, explained FranData President and CEO Darrell Johnson. The 50 largest brands control less than a quarter of the market share. This is an important finding for investors because it means that any brand with the right leadership and resources put behind it can become the market leader. So we've had, several of these franchises on.
Well, I'm glad, it's a great segue. In fact, I probably should have mentioned it first, that we had last week our first senior care symposium. and we had Aristocare, Always Best Care, and I think it was Visiting Angels. And I listened to that show. I said, wow, I mean, there's just a fantastic opportunity. When you look at the numbers in that particular industry, I haven't seen anything like it. It's just really incredible.
Right. All the stats and demographics, it's just, it just points to potential franchisees just having a lot of customers because the average age is going up in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot more out there today. I've probably mentioned this a dozen times, probably bragging just a little, but when I did that interview with the L.A. Times, this was 10 years ago, and they asked me, they said, what industry should aspiring franchisees be looking towards? I said, at least look at the senior care industry. It's definitely not for everybody, but, look at it. And since that time, I've noticed a lot of new franchise opportunities, and not even franchise opportunities, just regular businesses as well. Going into
I can't believe you're still bragging about that.
I'm still bragging about it. My last claim to fame.
Here's something, Marty. Columbus Business First. Homework still best path when franchise bug starts biting by Cindy Finley. Mm-hmm. Success is sweet for Chris Bukovic, and her story should resonate with those pinched by a stubborn economy and looking to start a business by buying into a franchise. I'd always had a savings set aside for the day maybe this would happen, she says. I didn't want to end up retired and saying to myself, what if I had not tried? The former CPA opened her first edible arrangements. You mentioned accountants before buying businesses. Her first franchise store in February 2007, 10 months before the recession gripping the nation officially began, selling a selection of picturesquely arranged fresh and chocolate-dipped fruits. And despite the foundering economy she walked into, Bukovic is doing so well that in mid-August she opened up a store nearby. She says her 15 years in corporate America, she dreamed of taking the plunge into entrepreneurship. At the end of 2008, there were over 850,000 franchise establishments that employed about over 9.5 million people with an output of $835 billion annually, according to Price Waterhouse Coopers. Traditionally, during a recession, we see franchises do quite well, and they are expected to outpace non-franchise business in terms of economic impact and jobs created, though at not as fast a pace as in the past. For Bukovic and Lisa Bryant, a franchisee for 1-800 Dry Clean, the process of finding the right franchise boiled down to examining what type of business they felt comfortable working in and ensuring a support system was in place. She went on, Marty, saying she decided to research edible arrangements franchises because she recognized the pluses of buying into a tried-and-true operation with systems and support in place to lower the risk of failure. She looked at the company's financial requirements of a franchisee. Mm-hmm. I guess they need a certain amount of liquidity and the ability to make a minimum investment of between $150,000 and $300,000.
Okay.
I know this franchise pretty closely from financing them for years.
Well, they were on our show too, if you remember.
Right. Good point. I think 1-800 Dry Clean was on there too, right? It's part of the
exactly. Yeah.
And she goes on saying she learned it had been in business for 10 years and was ranked 40th on Entrepreneur Magazine's 2009 Franchise 500 list. Mm-hmm. Those facts and a visit to the company's Connecticut base made the investment worthwhile for her. Her first year was a struggle as the product was relatively new to the area. In 2008, Edible Arrangements launched a national television marketing campaign that catapulted her sales. We grew at times by almost 40 to 50%. I think most of it was the result of national TV marketing, she says. In our store, literally, you can tell when the commercials were running because the printers would start reeling off orders from the call center. She also does her local marketing, hitting as many community centers as she can. She believes that seeing her product is believing in it.
Right.
It's interesting, and, she brings up a good plus of investing in a franchise. You get that corporate support, and I guess Edible went out and started running some national campaigns, and it benefited all the franchisees.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have one not far from here in Easton, Pennsylvania, and I know they're doing very well. So, in fact, we've ordered from them on several occasions. I know you've used their service before, too. Haven't you, to send gifts and stuff like that? So
holidays to relatives, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, so it's a great article. So good job once again, Don. And I think what we'll do here is we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Big now! Okay, you've got my attention.
Okay, you've got my attention. Big now!
Big now!
Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've got my attention. Big now! Okay, you've
It's a rare event in the world of franchising when an opportunity comes your way that can and will thrive in almost any economic environment. It's here, and its name is Big Mouth Advertising.
Big Mouth.
BMA is a leader in the exciting world of mobile media advertising. Why is mobile media advertising able to defy the economic cycles? The answer is obvious. In times of economic weakness, advertising is crucial for survival as the consumer dollar is scarce and the competition fierce. What is mobile media? It's the newest and fastest growing segment in the advertising world. Mobile media brings the message directly to the consumer. Mobile media goes to the consumer in traffic, where he eats and where he plays. It quite simply cannot be turned off or thrown out. And when you join the Big Mouth team as a franchisee, you are joining the best. The Big Mouth advantage is simple and successful. We invest in a strong infrastructure and in great people. As a franchisee, you have access to this entire system, including telemarketing, sales maximization, general and administrative support, design and creative services, even billing and collection services. All you need is a mobile media vehicle, a driver, and the willingness to create a financially sound and limitless business for yourself. There are no long-term leases to sign, no expensive build-outs, no office personnel to hire. You will be part of the Big Mouth advertising community and share its entire website and reception services, as well as its complete back-office services. This virtual office guarantees you the freedom to close those sales that will make you a success. We are so proud of our successes that we have voluntarily disclosed our revenue statements. Now, how many other franchises are doing that? Even in these historically rough financial times, Big Mouth Advertising has become a dominant force in the mobile media industry. Join the Big Mouth team and take the first step toward financial freedom. Please call Ron at 888-98-GO-BIG. That's 888-98-GO-BIG. Big Mouth! Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchisor who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Well, as we were saying earlier, Don, we got a great show today. We're meeting with Tony Lamb, who is the founder of Kona Ice, and a very interesting concept. Kona Ice provides bright, welcoming, and professional alternative to the typical ice cream truck. And kids line up to buy shaved ice and get a used patent flavor wave where customers can pour their own flavors onto the ice with literally thousands of different combinations. So it sounds like a cool concept. Hey, Tony, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome, Tony. Tony, joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson, and I know, Don, you wanted to say good morning to Tony.
Yeah, Tony, appreciate you coming on. That's great. You guys probably just went through a big role with just recently ending the summer with Kona, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Our Northeast franchises are kind of winding down for the season a little bit, but our Texas, California, and Florida people are just got off the phone with one of our Florida people. He's geared up and running strong right now. So,
which probably makes it great, Tony. I'm sure we'll talk about it, later on. But sometimes those seasonal businesses are fantastic. We had one of the tax franchises on, I guess it was about a month ago, and they work like hell during the season, but then they finally get some time off, where they could take several months off and do other things, spend it with their family and things like that, So
it's ironic you say that because our Chicago franchisee is a tax person, and so his seasons actually work out good. His tax season in the off season for us, and then runs Kona all summer and fall long. So
that's fantastic. That's great. Tony, where are you calling from this morning?
Actually, I'm on vacation with my family down in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Oh, God bless you. That's great. So we appreciate you calling in on your vacation. It's great. Tony, what were you doing before starting Kona Ice? It's a really cool concept.
Well, thank you very much. It's been I've been a marketing consultant for about 2001. I sold a company that I built, and was very fortunate and blessed in that. And we sold that, and just kind of was started helping some friends, and then that grew from one thing to another. Market their business. I've always had a knack for that. I'm degreed in marketing and communications and things like that, and that's what just started. So one thing led to another, and then as a contract was ending, I decided, hey, I'm going to go do something that I found real exciting. That's
fantastic.
And why an ice and treat type of franchise? What led you to that, Tony?
It was real quickly. It was just a cute story. We had moved into a neighborhood, and we had a bad ice cream truck experience. The more people I talked to, the more people that have shared that bad ice cream truck experience. The 72 Chevy van rolls around, the derelict sticks his head out the window and sells me a $4 popsicle that's freezer burnt, and that's kind of the way it went. And so I thought, it just started a conversation with my wife and I. We were saying, what if? Can you imagine? What if? Right. And lo and behold, Kona Ice was born. Beautiful, bright, engaging trucks, interactive with the kids, uniformed drivers, as much glass as possible so people can see in, very low priced, so it's real aggressive.
Right, the way it should be done. And talk about that when you started, the history a little bit, when you decided to franchise.
Well, we started, it was one of those things I thought, I'm just going to build, I live in the Cincinnati market. I thought I'll just build for the Cincinnati market and have another side business. I've got a mobile advertising business, and I'll just have another side business. And as we started working on it, and I started bringing engineers and graphic designers in and everything, I realized we probably were striking onto something a little bigger, and than what it actually had originally started. Then when we hit the flavor wave, which we were able to patent, that's when we realized we had something that would be proprietary for us. And the flavor wave has changed everything for us because we can serve 500-600 people an hour.
Wow.
Which changes the business plan completely because it's no longer all about the neighborhood sales. It's as much about event sales as anything else. And we create our own events. We go into school systems, we go into churches, festivals, just any community organization. We can go in and do fundraisers, or we can do discounted services and things like that. So it's been a fascinating thing to watch this develop and spin. It's been extremely profitable in that fact. So
I imagine.
It must be nice with the franchisees having that flexibility to go after the business, go get the business, rather than always waiting for people to come to you. I like that aspect.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most positive things, especially in today's environment. We launched with our national ads and web portal advertising back in September of 2008, which is when everything was collapsing and financially. But man, things were just busting at the seams. We had more people coming in, and I was listening to your show earlier, and I think you guys are dead on the money when people are just forced into entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. They're tired of working in a situation where they can be let go at any time. I think probably 50% of our franchisees are disengaged corporate people that have decided, hey, I'm going to take control of my own destiny and get involved, and have done very well. We've got 68 trucks on the road and about 42 franchisees.
That's something.
Yeah, it's why we started the show. Obviously, Marty and I being so pro-franchise, just wanted to get information in this type of format out to people to bring to people a concept, such as yours, Tony. And you're right, so many people downsized out of work, deciding what to do. Everybody has a dream of owning their own business, but it's a big investment, time investment. You got to make sure you're making the right decision. Yeah. Franchising is a much, lower chance of failure, and
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you're putting together a great system there. So what do you tell an investor comes up, they're looking at Kona, how do you describe the Kona Ice franchise system to them?
By the time I get to them, they've gone through, our team and everything. So they've kind of done their due diligence, and they know that it's a excuse me, it's a seasonal business to some degree. It's very kid-friendly, and it's real community-driven. We're involved in all the community organizations with the, like I said, the churches and the schools and the youth groups and things like that. So it's someone that wants to be a part of the community. It's someone that wants the seasonality of a business, and it's somebody that wants to be, mainly get involved.
Our questions to you, Tony, are kind of tough. So if you want to take a break.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just all choked up.
You're still
this much on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Vacation mode, Tony.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
But I guess another selling point as you're talking to potential investors, which I guess they have to like, the aspect of it being kind of, a feel-good business. I mean, you're making people happy. You're buying treats. I guess to a certain extent, it's recession-resistant. These are low-cost items, and people are out at a festival or warm weather. I mean, all kinds of situations. People are always going to be happy when they see the trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, overwhelmingly, that's the number one point that we go through. We've done our validation where we called through to everybody, and that is it. I mean, I've been involved in so many different businesses that we've looked at that, just in my marketing consulting days.
Yeah.
That, the overwhelming thing is everyone's excited to see. I mean, people start dancing.
Right.
The music's real engaging. And you're exactly right. That's probably the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, it's an experience. I mean, even as, Don and I, we went on your website this week, you give that, like, Caribbean feel kind of music, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it does. It gives you that experience. So I think that's what part of Kona Ice is as well. I love the interaction. I always said to Don, I said, how did you come up with that idea? Because it is very clever. I mean, to have people involved in making their own flavors, and I think it was like over 1,000 flavors or something like that you can come up with?
Well, yeah. When you look at the different combinations that you can make, with,
right?
With 10 different flavors outside and another 30 inside.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Do you have a favorite flavor, Tony? Or I mean, this.
God, I do. My son, my whole family's involved. I got 4 kids.
Yeah.
My whole family's involved, and they get in there, and they come to me all the time. Hey, Dad, I got a new flavor, and
right.
I mixed black raspberry with pina colada, and we're calling it, black raspberry colada.
Oh yeah.
And
it would be a cool contest, I know you have the marketing and everything, just have a contest like who comes up with the best flavor, what I mean, for like a Kona Ice, It's
we do a flavor of the week. We always bring in like a cheesecake or something like that, and it keeps the variety for the customers different. That way, when people are coming out to the truck, they're always saying, "Hey, what's the flavor of the week? We want to try this," and keeps things changing and moving.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful concept. Yeah.
I live, Tony, along the Jersey Shore, and I'm just trying to think because we go on little weekend trips here or there, and I'm just thinking, I don't see. Something like this, even along the Jersey Shore. Of course, you have, the classic good humor trucks. They're older. That's,
right.
There might be something here or there, maybe some type of Italian Ice type truck, but I'm sure the Kona Ice vehicles and just everything about it will just blow it away.
Yeah, there's no competition when it gets close because of the engagement factor and just the look. I mean, the music, the look of the truck. And everything. We do have a couple trucks heading that direction up by the Jersey Shore. They sold them late in the year, so they're up there getting started. Got a call later today, matter of fact, with a guy who's not today, but Thursday, with a guy who's interested in up in New Jersey.
Wow, they'll make a killing by the shore, that's for sure, won't they, Don?
It's
just,
and I guess the patent, the system you put in place must be a pretty good selling point as well.
Yeah, and it does. It gives you, protection. It gives you some proprietary feel to it.
Right.
And it does. You guys, the biggest thing, like I said, is the speed of service. When you, it's one thing to hit a neighborhood and hit a street, and everyone's excited and involved. But when you pull up to a school, we do a thing called a Kona Day for a school where we do a fundraiser. We just finished one up back in Cincinnati where we did a school of about 1,300 kids. I brought 2 trucks in. We served them all in about an hour and 10 minutes. Every kid come in, brings their money. We give a significant proportion back to the school. I think the school raised over $1,000 in an hour and 10 minutes, and the Kona trucks, fulfilled every need, and it's just that fast. I mean, you've got a top-of-the-line equipment inside. You've got the best, shavers, and all the ergonomics of the inside just lend itself to being, just a speed-serving deal if you need to be.
Wow, that's great.
It seems like it had all, every angle covered.
Right.
I'm sure that was thought about going out there. A lot of times people forming a business, mistakes are made during the way. It seems like it had all this thought out beforehand.
Yeah, I built 5 prototypes, and I was in the truck every single day of the week. That's why I'm on vacation now, trying to do some marriage repair.
There you go.
But no, as the prototypes would roll in, I spread them out about 2 months apart. As the trucks would roll in, I'd get in it and work and see the things I'd want to change. We'd make the changes on the next truck coming in, and I would jump into the new truck and put somebody in the old trucks, and it was a process. And but we started with great engineers and good designers, and so we've certainly done our homework and we've done our research, and we do feel like we've got a very quality product on the road, because more important than anything is just the quality control that we can have with the trucks so that it never goes down.
And why the name Kona, by the way? I don't know if that...
there's several things, several reasons behind Kona. Obviously, it lends itself to a tropical feel.
Yeah.
Kona's got some great Hawaiian meaning if you do the research on it. But it certainly does, like I said, lend itself. It's a quick name. It lends itself. I actually had a guy say, "Well, you're playing Caribbean music with a Hawaiian truck, so you're so out of line." I thought, well, you've certainly done your homework there, so I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that is something. What are
Sorry, say that again?
Has technology played a role in your business?
We've looked at several things. Our website's very extensive. All of our back-end website is attuned to, and that's Kona, Kona, dash. It's a hyphen in between it, Ice.
Right.
And it's very extensive in the back end for the franchisees for all their online orders, all the training videos and things like that. Anytime we come up with a new recipe or a new way to do it, or someone in one of our franchisees in New Orleans comes through with these great ideas, then those things come through.
Oh, that's great. And any numbers on the industry, Tony? You're in a pretty big industry.
Yeah, from a treat standpoint, we're in a massive industry. From a mobile treats, we're a pretty small industry. The great thing I love about it is and we're in 23 states now, plus DC. And I hear it all over the country. Man, the local ice cream truck guy is a disaster.
Right.
And so if you ever have competition, that's the competition you want.
Sure.
An absolute derelict out driving a 72 van. I mean, gosh, bring that on all day long.
True.
I don't want to go up against McDonald's. I don't want to do another hamburger.
That should be your slogan, Kona Ice. We're not derelicts.
Yeah, that's pretty catchy.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty catchy. So no, the industry, there's only, like I said, a couple people actually building things like what we've got out there. No one's doing it at the level that we're doing it.
Right.
We've got great resources and good deep pockets. The business plans, very extensive. We've got great support material with this, our success guide, our fast start programs, all the marketing literature that we give to somebody. We actually do a pre-marketing package for them where we go in and solicit all their potential customers before they even get started. So do a lot of support work in that.
That's fantastic. Tony, we have to take a quick break. Are you able to stick around for another segment?
Sure, absolutely. I think I'm locked in a room and my family's beating on the door, but no.
Good. Okay, that's fantastic. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Okay.
Franchise Interviews, For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interest and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchisor who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Today we have a great show. We're meeting with Tony Lamb, who is the founder of Kona Ice. And Kona Ice provides a bright, welcoming, and professional alternative to the typical ice cream truck. And Don, I think you're up.
Yeah, Tony, as you're starting to grow and add franchisees, what are some of the characteristics you're looking for in a franchisee?
Don, great question, and that changes on a daily basis. I think when I started, Don, I looked for someone exactly like me, but I've got a gentleman in Austin, Texas, who's 24 years old, owns 3 vehicles,
wow.
and just absolutely tearing it up. So I thought, well, okay, that shoots my dynamic. And then I've got a retired couple up in New Hampshire that is doing it just and having a blast doing it. Have brought so much to the company with their systems and processes. I've got people all over the country in every different dynamic. So what I am looking for is enthusiasm. I'm looking for owner-operator, especially initially.
Right.
I don't think it's as passive as, we've had some people inquire about, hey, I want to buy 10 trucks and do this and run it. And, maybe down the road, but not initially. I'd like for hands-on people to be involved because I think they're going to bring a lot to the table.
Right.
So we are looking for some owner-operators. I do have a gentleman that owns 6. And he's in the truck probably 3 or 4 times a week, and he brings a lot of great ideas and concepts to the table too. So if you're saying a characteristic, just a driven person that is going to look at it from an owner-operator standpoint, especially initially. Obviously you get 10 trucks on the road in a good area, you're not going to be able to be in the trucks every day, but certainly you'll be actively involved in the company.
And several of your franchisees are first-time business owners?
No, some of them are, some of them aren't. We've got such an eclectic group of people that are in, and that's what's been amazing. That the question's great. What's the characteristics? I don't know just yet. I do know what I like and what I don't. Again, it's the people that that say, hey, give me. I turned a guy down in Cincinnati alone, said he wanted 10 trucks, and
wow.
And I thought, I'm just not ready for that just yet.
Right.
I'm in slow growth mode.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah, the company's already in the black. You guys, we started in 2006. We're in the black.
Wow.
We're doing extremely well.
That's great.
And so we're looking for good quality people to come alongside and be involved and bring a lot to the table with us.
That's interesting, Tony. It's just something that you said earlier with the 24-year-old. I spoke at a national conference last year. It's called the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, and I had a lot of younger individuals, I would say 21, 22 years old, and a lot of them expressing interest in going into franchising. But I think, a lot of the bigger franchises may not take them serious because of their age, and that's something I was thinking, that this is something, if you are, let's say, in your mid-20s, I think you'd be able to get into, with the training and everything like that, which I know we're going to talk about, but...
well, Marty, let's face it. I mean, a 21-year-old has more energy than the three of us combined.
I agree, absolutely.
But they don't have they don't usually have the business acumen at this point. So,
right.
But if you can put them in a good system and with a good processes that they can follow and have all that energy, my goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and at that age, they're probably getting financing from family, so the family believes in them, willing to put up the investment. So, we've gone back and forth on the issue of young entrepreneurs and is having someone in their early mid-20s, potentially good franchisee. We read positive stories about it, but it has to be the right type of concept, of course.
It does, and he just like you said, his family got it behind him on his first truck or two, and his third truck, his model had proven out so well already that I think we financed. We have some internal financing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 68 trucks on the road. 25 of them have got some internal financing. But the rest of them have been cash. We've got great alternatives for them, and just what you guys are talking about, and your sponsors even with the company leasings and things like that. There's a lot out there.
Right.
That's great.
Talk to us a little bit, Tony, about training. Well, might as well get into that a little bit.
Yeah, we found it later in the year that it's been actually more beneficial for us to fly a trainer out. We have the trucks flatbedded to the, especially in California when we finally got through the regulation in California, and we started flatbedding trucks in there. I just would fly our trainer into there, and he'd spend 2 or 3 days with the person. They've done a lot of pre-marketing. They've done all their fast starts, so everything is ready. That truck shows up, they plug it in, drop ice in the coolers, and they can start making money. Matter of fact, the greatest story is we delivered a truck to San Diego. The guy's backing the truck off. The girl's sitting there ready to pick up her truck. A crowd forms around the truck, and they saw someone wanting shaved ice. And she didn't know quite what to do, so she said, "If you guys will come over to such and such address," and so
great.
We've had people that have driven their truck back from our facility in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, and said they've stopped at gas stations to get gas and actually sold shaved ice on the way home.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's something.
So the training is, to answer your question, the training is very quick. It's not rocket. My dad always has coined this term. It's not rocket surgery. Mm-hmm. This is shaving ice, letting kids put flavors on it, and doing that. But all the business and the business planning and all that's already done for you by the time you get your vehicle.
Right,
and that's what the trainer does. He takes you out and gets you into businesses and gets you into your business plan.
It was one of the things that attracted me towards your franchise opportunity, Tony, was I like the simplicity of the concept. If you notice the great concepts, let's say your subways, I mean, It's a pretty simple concept if you think about it. It's, as you said, it's not rocket science, and I think the same applies here, and I think those make the best franchise systems. When it's the simpler, the better. Keep it simple.
A great tagline or a great line that we're hearing out there is, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard it just driving around Northern Kentucky, is, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was saying it during the show.
Yeah, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that?
Exactly.
And that's a very big compliment.
Yeah,
it's a great compliment for people to hear.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of our listeners to the show, Tony, they're aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise. What advice would you give to them in their franchise search?
Boy, and that's it. It's research. I went to the IFA show in Washington, D.C. There's about 200 vendors there. I collected more material and looked at more things. My 13-year-old son, obviously just really hit a line. He said, okay, so let me get this straight. They sell you a pizza recipe, and then they charge you for the rest of your life. And you know, and I laughed, and I said, well, no, it's not quite like that.
Right.
But there's some interesting topic there. You know, how much is the company going to come alongside you? How much have they already proved themselves out? And I know that's our danger. People say, well, you're not very old. Well, call any of my franchisees. We've got 100% validation at this point. Everyone's making money, doing very well. But, research. I would talk to as many franchisees of that concept as I possibly could.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Yeah, you know, always the strongest endorsement does come from the franchisees, of course. You know,
there's no doubt.
Don and I recommend that on the show, you know. So,
hey, Tony, is this a concept where you're going to really push into the cold weather states? Because with you being able to go out to events and schools and churches, whatever, I mean, this can be a product being sold, you know, in the wintertime. So I guess it's, you know, maybe talk about the year-round business aspect of it.
You know, we're dabbling into that. Let me say this: we've proven this point out to be extremely effective and efficient in a market. And I'm in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati suburb. We usually have about a 7-month selling season, and we've proven this out to be as efficient and as profitable as most year-round franchises. Guys, we've got a 4% food cost, which is staggering, obviously.
Yeah.
Your labor cost, because you're a one-man operation, is obviously on the bottom end of the spectrum.
Right.
And then a royalty fee. Our royalty fee is a fixed $3,000 a year royalty.
Wow.
And you know, when you look at that kind of burden on that and how light that burden is, it's extremely profitable. I know as a franchisor, I'm not supposed to talk numbers. That's why I just beg you to call the franchisees and let them start talking to you about numbers.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, we are dabbling into that. We've got some concept designs where we're taking carts and we're bringing them in because we get hooked into these school systems. So we go into the basketball games and the off-season sports and be inside their venues. We've gotten into a university in Tennessee where we're inside at all their events. We've done all those things. And of course, obviously in the California, Texas, and Florida markets, or all the southern markets, they're just operating year-round. But
so obviously marketing, advertising, very important. Coupons, you know, those type of services. But the truck itself is a big selling point as you're driving around. I guess that's a real less cost just having the truck.
Yeah, it's the mobile advertising business tied in with the Shave Ice business. It's it's great. It's the immediate branding. I've got a very good friend who's got he's in the chicken franchise, probably the most successful chicken franchise, and he took a look at our concept early on. His best comment was, Tony, I've never seen anything brand so quick in my life. He said, we're at a high school football game. He did about $600 for the chicken sandwich sales. I did about $1,800 worth of Shave Ice sales with about $60 in food cost. And he said, but the amazing thing, guys, he said people are racking up their second and third time saying, hey, give me 2 small Konas and a King Kona. They're not asking for flavors because they're going to the side and filling them up. So they're already incorporating our name as the product. And he said the branding was immediate, it was phenomenal, and it was extremely loyal. So that's been a big win for us, obviously.
That's great. Tony, we have about 1 minute. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a franchisee with Kona Ice? You know,
right now, if you dial the 1-800 Kona Ice, you go into a service, and obviously we've got salespeople there that will go through and give you the information. You can contact us through the website, the Kona-Ice.com. You can contact us there and get franchise information there.
That's a great website, by the way, too. Yeah, it's a fantastic website.
Oh, we've got such a budget for that, you guys. It's going to be amazing with all the interactive games and everything. So, but we'll get people the information pack out to them, and get you a hold of somebody.
That's great. I want to thank you again, Tony. You've been a wonderful guest, and I'd love to have you guys back in the near future and talk as you guys continue to grow.
Marty and Don, I appreciate you guys interrupting my vacation tonight.
Enjoy the rest of your vacation, Tony. We really appreciate it.
I will do it.
Great job, Tony. Take care.
Great show, huh, Don?
Yeah.
Great concept, you know. It's just you look at the business model and you say, wow. you know, and once again, that's what I was thinking as Tony was talking. I said, why didn't I think of that, you know?
Yeah, I love hearing the startup story aspect of how
they're always wonderful. You know, it's always so inspirational, you know, so just a great concept. So we have another great show next week, and you did a good job, Don, with current events, and I guess I'll see you next week.
Okay, good. I would tell people about some of our websites, Marty.
Oh. Forgetting my job. Go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to gofranchise.com, go to franchisefunding.net, and on franchiseinterviews.com, again, we have over 140 shows. That's over 140 hours of material. It will take you 6 days to listen to our show, and I think we can officially declare ourselves, Don, the biggest franchise show on the planet Earth, right? I mean,
for franchise,
3 years now.
Right.
So, good job, and we'll just keep rocking, right?
Yep, definitely. Same to you, Marty. Have a great
day.
day.
Nice job, Don.
Take care.
Take care.